We've all heard about Feng Shui, this ancient Chinese philosophy developed over 5,000 years ago, which focuses on balance and positive energy through arranging living spaces, maximizing the life force energy, qi, in a space to create harmony, flow, balance, and peace. Think about all of these airy and flowy, jaw-dropping interior design Pinterest boards or Instagram accounts that gives a sense of peace by just looking at them. Turns out, Feng Shui is more than having a beautiful home with lots of flow and pretty decoration. It's also about mindset. According to Professor Matthews M. in his publication Feng Shui Teaching About Science and Pseudoscience, some believe that Feng Shui may also improve mental health, and there is some scientific evidence to support this. Others say that while this practice does appear to offer these benefits, they aren't necessarily rooted in science, but may be more of a placebo effect or positive results that has been influenced by the mind. Looks like either way, our minds feel more at ease when adorned with some Feng Shui. I've myself followed some Feng Shui principle to arrange and decorate my own home. However, I've never known that it went beyond our living spaces, actually all the way to the mind. So today, let's uncover how decluttering our minds through Feng Shui can bring us mind clarity and improve our mindset. For that, I invited Jeannette Cieszykowski, a classical Feng Shui consultant, to educate us during this conversation. In the last 10 years, she's been supporting people in creating an energy-rich home life that supports their health, wealth, and happiness by using Feng Shui, aiming to transform their spaces, mindsets, and lives. Her motto is taking you from planning, dreaming, and wondering to achieving with a Feng Shui space that multiplies your every effort. Well, I'd say we all want more of that. So let's go. I'm eager to learn more about all Feng Shui has to offer, especially for our state of mind. If you want to let go of past pain, transcend your traumas, expand your consciousness, and reclaim your power to finally be the main character of your own conscious reality, as well as learning about conscious living, you're at the right place. Welcome to Conscious Matters. It's a safe space where we chat about conscious matters, focus on self-empowerment, awareness, holistic wellness, and sustainability. Join me, Melissa DiVieri, for inspiring conversations with myself and some of the most beautiful souls out there. We expand on our experiences and share what we've learned along our healing journey to live in peace, harmony, and mindfulness on a daily basis. Oh, and share with loved ones, and don't forget to take 5 little seconds to review this podcast by just leaving a few stars and kind words. That would really help with the algorithm, so we can spread the message to help more people live consciously. Get your mind, body, and soul ready for a ride in consciousness. Namaste, listeners.
Hello, Janet.
Hello.
How you doing?
Very good. I'm excited to talk with you guys today.
Yeah.
You and your listeners.
So I'm happy to have you on.
Today we're talking about Feng Shui, more specifically how to revamp our mindset through Feng Shui so we can be more at peace, more clear, more centered into ourselves.
Yes.
So first question first, some can think about Feng Shui as another woo-woo practice to overpay an interior designer. So could you tell us what is Feng Shui actually based on and how it can benefit us?
Feng Shui is the study of how your environment affects you. So it's looking at your surroundings at a macro level down to a micro level. It's an ancient art and science that originated 5,000 years ago. And the original Feng Shui was forms Feng Shui, where they studied land forms. So they looked at the mountains and the waters around them and the actual land. And now in this modern day, many people confuse it with interior design, and they think,
absolutely.
Oh, so you're an interior designer. And I like to say to the layman that Feng Shui is like interior design, but with energy. So we're looking at how is this life force energy, how's this chi flowing throughout our home? It can be as big as looking at the landforms and where you live. Do you live by a power plant? Do you live by the ocean? And it goes all the way into, I guess what you could say is also your interior design, but it's much more about studying the energy of a space.
Can you explain what is chi or life force for people who don't know?
Well, it's complicated. I am usually long-winded, but it's the vital energy that breathes life into us. And it's this energy that is all around us as well, that brings us opportunity, that brings us health, wealth, and prosperity. So acupuncturists, Feng Shui is a part of Chinese metaphysics. So is acupuncture, traditional Chinese medicine, and acupuncturists poke and prod you so that your chi internally is flowing properly. And with Feng Shui, we're poking and prodding your space to help that chi, that life force energy. It's really that like breath of life, the energy that keeps us going.
Okay. And what are more specifically the universal principles or the natural laws of Feng Shui?
What an intense question. What are say it again? What are
The universal
universal
principles and
laws?
natural
Universal.
laws of Feng Shui.
Wow. Okay. So the basics of Feng Shui, I can say, is balancing the five elements. So fire, earth, metal, water, and wood, when in balance, are in harmony, and we feel in harmony, in balance, in calm. So again, in all Chinese metaphysics, they're balancing the elements. So similar to, I like to compare it to acupuncture back and forth because people are more familiar with acupuncture.
That's
So
true.
if you have anxiety, that's fire of the chest. And so if you go to an acupuncturist, they poke certain areas to build up the kidneys, which are water. And then they'll poke certain things to activate the wood in you, which is your liver. And when you enhance the water, it balances out all that fire of the chest. So the principles are very similar in Feng Shui. We look at the energy of a home and the energy that's present in the home. And if people are feeling certain ways, like angry, stuck, stubborn, overly emotional, all of those correlate with an element, fire, earth, metal, or water, or wood. And we balance. That's one of the ways we know what elements to add in more of and what elements to take out of the home that they may have too much of. So the basic principles or universal principles all stem from balancing the five elements.
Yeah. And that's funny because we often forget as humans, especially in the Western world, how we are fully connected with nature, because you talked about the elements, and usually is the one that we refer to when we talk about nature, but we forget that we have these five elements as well inside of us, and how everything works in synchronicity or in synergy, if I can say. So that's beautiful to see the link between nature and us, and this life force energy is not only outside of us, it's also inside of us, and we have to find this balance by poking at different parts of ourselves and our home as well.
Yeah, a part of a major core principle of Chinese metaphysics is something called the cosmic trinity. And that is, I kind of say it's like the three parts to ultimate manifestation, if you will. So you have heaven luck, it's this like higher being, the planets. Then you have man luck, which is us, that internal energy, our attitude, our actions, again, that internal energy vibration we have. And then earth luck, which is Feng Shui, the environmental energy. So you could argue that Feng Shui, I say, is like 1/3 of your manifestation powers, your actions, how you show up, your vibration, your health, your consciousness, your mindfulness practices. That's another third. And then you can look at astrology. What's the timing of your life? What's going on in the planets, the ebbs and flows in that energy? And that's the final third.
That's beautiful.
So yes, it's all interconnected.
So how does that work in a home? For example, if we're not a Feng Shui consultant, if we haven't studied Feng Shui, but we're still interested in having more of a flow in our home in a simple way, even though it's just, few things here and there that we can help to declutter the chaos or the uncomfortability or the incomfortability.
Yeah, there's so many layers to Feng Shui. It's very dynamic. So again, me being a huge geek about this, I could totally, I feel like there's so many different directions I could go. But the first way to look at like, how is the flow in my house? Somebody might have heard us say, okay, this chi flowing through my home. Well, what's the flow like in my home? Imagine that energy is a big bucket of water, and you're standing at your front door with this big bucket of water, and you pour it in your front door. Where does the water go? Does it flow straight through the back door and out the back? Does it flow in the front door, but then there's a bunch of stuff and piles and coats and shoes, and it kind of traps all the water so it pools right at the front? Or does the water, aka this energy, right, does it flow like to the left and around some couches and into the dining room and through the kitchen and up the stairs? We want that invisible water, when you pour it in the front door, to flow and disperse nicely through all the rooms in our home. So what can people immediately do is play that practice or use that visualization and start at the front door. And if immediately you say, oh yeah, all that water, all that energy would pool right at the front. And that's the first area you want to start. How can you widen that area? How can you clean it up? What is that energy at the entrance of your home greeted with? Is your screen door broken? Again, do you have a bunch of muddy, dirty shoes? because that's the immediately what this water, aka energy, is filtered through. So you could start there. And then oftentimes clutter is associated with feng shui. 5,000 years ago, they didn't have clutter, but now we do. So it does sort of go hand in hand. And if you think of the home, again, you go through this analogy, this example of where's the water flowing? Well, if you have a bunch of stuff on the stairs, if there's particularly a room where it's just everything's cluttered to the max, that's the first area you want to start so that the energy can breathe in through your home.
And circulate. Yeah.
And then inevitably people will feel more clarity, more calm, more excitement, more lust for life again, because that chi, that life force energy is flowing.
Yeah. And there's this adage or this phrase that fully resonate with me that says that your home, especially your bedroom, is a reflection of your state of mind. How do you feel about it?
Yeah. Your external is a direct reflection of your internal.
100%. Yeah.
So yes, your bedroom, but I would say your whole house.
Yeah.
To add on to that adage. So there's a universal law. Most people are familiar with the law of attraction, but I think there's actually like 16 or 24 universal laws.
Yeah, it's much more than just the law of attraction. Yeah.
Right. There's law of reciprocity, there's cause and effect. Particularly the law of correspondence sort of states this: your external is a direct reflection of your internal. I sort of see it as the cycle of correspondence. Like, who am I to change a universal law? But I like to call it the cycle of correspondence, because to a certain extent, it's this like, what came first, the chicken or the egg? If you're stressed out and busy, and so you're not cleaning up, you're not decluttering, you're not taking care of your environment. So now your environment's a reflection of this chaos internally. But then your space becomes chaotic and cluttered and a visual representation of how you're overwhelmed.
Absolutely.
And that kind of fuels this internal chaos even more. That mind chatter of things aren't perfect, I am behind, what now? And so it's kind of this cycle.
Yeah, this
and certainly, this back and forth. And certainly, so for anybody who's feeling unmotivated or why should I take care of my space? I'm trying to take care of me. No, your external will immediately, if you clean it up and organize it, or even just add some nice flowers, it will help uplift you and help get you into this, whether you're trying to come out of a rut or whether you're just having one bad day. But straightening up, cleaning up, or adding something nice to your space immediately elevates your mood.
Yeah, and I second that because even for me, like I'm quite orderly, but we all have days when we're trying on clothes and then we have to go in a hurry. So when we get back, like not everything is like organized. And I know that when I don't feel at my best, my home reflects that. But then it stresses me out even more. So I'm like, I cannot stay in that space. So I clean it up. And right away, I'm like, even though I'm not suddenly whoopee, like this is wonderful, but I feel much better. I feel calmer. So I really do think that it's like this back and forth, as you said, of the internal, external, internal, external.
Yeah. And so people automatically think, they're like, oh, so Jeannette, is your home just like clean and perfect all of the time? Or do I immediately have bad feng shui the second my house is messy? And I am a little controversial in this. I don't know if any other feng shui consultants would agree with me, but my home, first of all, is definitely not always put together or clean by any means. And after I go on vacation, my suitcase is there, like not unpacked, but just open and a mess for like weeks. But I would argue that like, if you're in the zone and you're feeling productive and you're focused on work and you're like in the zone, I would argue that sometimes a messy house shows that you've been in the zone and you've been being creative. I think there's a little bit about some organized chaos, and particularly creative people are known to have like messier desks and things like that. But what's great, and this is how I live, is the second I am no longer in flow and the second I'm feeling uninspired or forcing things and nothing good for work is coming to mind or things like that, I clean and I say, okay, now I pivot. And as soon as I put these things away and clean the space, I make space to receive new inspiration and I make space to receive new reinvigorated energy. But I 100% do not believe that it has to be perfect all the time. All of your feng shui has not gone wrong. If it's messy for a couple of weeks, if your kids' toys are everywhere, like you absolutely can cut yourself some slack.
Yeah, we humans, at the end of the day, we will have days with and other days without. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's so much more than just the clutter. So like I like to say that feng shui is giving your space attention with intention. So the stuff on your walls, the things you're surrounded by, the colors, the textures, the elements, that is the base, right? So if your base elements, like feng shui elements being balanced, are there, then it doesn't matter if clothes are in certain places for too long, if our sinks are in the dishes, or sinks are in the dishes are in the sinks sitting for too long. That's funny. That's the stuff that don't worry about it, because the base, you have already given your home attention with intention, and it's absolutely okay if there's a little bit of chaos.
Yeah.
Added on top.
Thank you for the reminder. It's important.
Yeah.
So how Feng Shui improve our everyday lives, especially clearing our negative thoughts, finding mind clarity, balance, and attracting more positivity and prosperity into our lives. So in other words, breaking down blockages that may be causing restrictive energy.
Oh my gosh, say that first part again. That first part of the question. They're such good questions. They're so like dynamic. Usually people are like, where do I put my books? So you're asking me such great questions.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So I was saying, how can Feng Shui improve our everyday lives, especially clearing our negative thoughts, finding mind clarity, balance, and attracting more positivity and prosperity into our lives? So just to summarize that, how do we break down blockages that may be causing restrictive energy?
Yeah, that's a lot of that first part and the second part we just talked about. So if you're wondering why you feel stuck, suffocated, just like tense, right? Do that water practice. Pour water, even if it's not the front door, pour water into your room, pour water down your hallway. Some people are so in tune. They're like, I can't work in my office. Pour water in there and see like, where is it flowing? Where is it getting stuck and puddling? And again, if you make space to receive, you'll receive that clarity. You have to get rid of things or move things or organize things to make space to receive it, right? We can't fill a cup that's already full. To reiterate, that will really help with clarity and mindfulness. And in terms of attracting in positivity and releasing the bad thoughts and things like that, many people are big on saging and space clearing. I prefer I'm like looking at my space clearing stuff. I prefer Palo Santo. I do think you can sage too frequently, because as people are space clearing, I feel like really focused on the bad.
Yeah.
They're like, get out bad energy, get out. On one hand, okay, if there's something that actually happened, go ahead and release it. But I really like using Palo Santo and walking around your home and blessing it with gratitude and thankfulness, rather than focusing on what you want to get rid of. Focus on what you want to call in.
True. And I think, so two things to bounce back on what you said. The first one is we forget that there are so many cultures that actually have this practice of clearing the space with smoke, if I can say. So it's not only saging or Palo Santo. A lot of cultures use flowers, others use incense, like different kind of incense. Some use ylang ylang or stuff like that, which we now use in the Western world in essential oils. But a lot of them were actually used as a smoking, not ceremony, to not put too much a weight on it, but more into like clearing and letting go of things that are no longer serving us. So we don't have to only stick to Palo Santo and sage. There's so many, we can explore different cultures, especially
even the diffusers of oils. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
If you don't know anything about cultures, like,
yeah. And even though you don't know anything about culture, maybe you can dig into your own, like all the way back to your lineage. And I'm pretty sure you will find something that actually resonate with your own ancestry. The second thing Yeah, because it became kind of a trend to have sage and Palo Santo, but we don't
Yeah.
really, which is not bad. I'm not saying it's bad
Mm.
or it's good, but we kind of laser focus on that and forgot about questioning ourselves and how we can improve it, or maybe we can find something that resonates a little bit more with us.
Some people use like sound as well, those sound bowls.
Yeah,
To waken
absolutely.
up, like that's something with like again, if you're feeling kind of stuck and you want to be back to present and groundedness and
Mm,
release some of the negative thinking, sound bowls and that hurts and the frequencies really
yeah.
send those resonations out.
Love that. And the second thing, you're absolutely right. A lot of people focus on the negative, like get out, get out, get out. But we
Mhm.
can actually combine both. Like I release everything that is not serving me, but at the same time, I welcome all of the beautiful things, and then you state whatever you need in your life. You were talking about balance before, so we can release and also attract at the same time. So it
Mhm.
doesn't have to be one or the other, to my mind,
Mm-mm.
once again.
Yeah, I think my favorite thing to do with anxiety and anxious thoughts is because I used to be the person that was like, don't think it, don't think about it, don't think about
Mm,
it, don't
same.
focus on it.
Yeah.
And my favorite thing is to say, like, thank you so much, like observe the thoughts. Thank you so much, anxiety, for showing me what I don't want.
Mm.
Now I'm going to focus on what I do want.
Ooh,
Because sometimes we
yeah.
just have to like feel it. Yeah, I can't even take credit for that. I don't know who said it. I can't remember who said it or wrote it, but yeah, when I heard that, I was, because again, well, not again, but I was somebody who definitely didn't want to feel anything bad or didn't want to feel those tough emotions.
Mm.
And you definitely learn for evolution and healing and to be aligned. What comes up must be released. And so just
Absolutely.
have it come up and acknowledge it, even with your space. Like, okay, you can walk around with your sound bowls, you can walk around with your new aromatherapies, whatever it is. And you can just say, thank you for showing me what I don't want. Now let's focus on what we do. And that's the
Beautiful.
nice thing about Feng Shui, looking at like I said, Feng Shui is giving your space attention with intention. As you start to add things into your home with intention,
Hmm.
you're placing things purposefully. You have taken the time to think about, what are my intentions for my life? Where am I going? What do I want? What am I calling in? And then your home becomes this like 3D vision board. And so while your mind still can run away with all of us, right?
Hmm.
Our brains tend to do what they want to do. Sometimes our thoughts do what they want to do sometimes.
A little bit too much.
Um, Oh, I know.
Sometimes.
And yeah, you and I were talking about coming off the full moon. Oh my goodness. But your home then becomes this. You look over here and you see, oh, I placed that for my intentions of growing my business, or I placed that imagery because I'm so grateful I found the love of my life. And it becomes, everywhere you look, it's this reminder and this, again, reinvigoration of like, these are my intentions and my purpose in life. And it's very uplifting and exciting when you're surrounded by things that have meaning.
Absolutely. And living intentionally, it's one of the most amazing thing that you can do for yourself.
Yeah, it's so surprising how long some people go with always just reacting, right? And not being forward thinking. And I think that's my favorite thing about Feng Shui. Most people, they get into meditation and mindfulness practices first. I sort of did it backwards. I'm a big meditator now, hoping to be into yoga one day. But
You don't
for
have
sure,
to.
meditate.
Yeah.
No, but for sure, meditation. But I started with Feng Shui first, and it really, yeah, just helped me like get excited about and help me feel kind of in control of my life. I'm co-creating with someone, something bigger than me.
Mm,
And rather than living this life of just reacting,
yeah.
it helps me be present and forward thinking.
Ooh, love that. And that's how we should be, actually. I don't like the should statements, but when we
Mm,
think about it, I think that's how we were designed to be, instead of just being in the rat race, into our minds, being so negative, thinking oriented, and just like comparing ourselves, living in that clutter, not only externally, but also internally, like living in this internal chaos emotionally, and as a result, reacting for every single thing. So yeah.
Yeah, when you're connected with your space and you're connected with this practice of Feng Shui, you quickly realize that less is actually more. And so this rat race of everybody wanting to have this and this and that and all these nice things. And when
Which
you
is normal
learn
and
to
okay also.
yeah, it's
But there's a
totally
way to
normal and
go about
okay.
it. Yeah.
But there is a deep end where it's like you don't need all those pictures from Target and you don't need all those like random succulent plants that they have at Home Goods. Like, what is the meaning of this? Like, literally, what is the meaning of this huge piece of artwork you have in your bedroom that you see before you go to bed and before you wake up? And it's so funny with my clients. They'll be like, we'll make space to receive, you know, AKA we'll clean out, we'll make space for certain things. And then they'll be like, okay, well, now what do I put there? I'm like, nothing. We don't have to fill everything to the brim.
Yeah, I agree with you. So, on a completely different note, or maybe not that different, you tell me, how do we improve our money mindset by using Feng Shui?
This goes back to Feng Shui is giving your space attention with intention. When we Feng Shui, people are going to Google, if they haven't already, how do I Feng Shui for more money, right? And so then they're going to see all kinds of tips and tricks from all different blogs and all different crazy sources, some reputable, some not. Put a plant here, put a water feature here, paint your front door this color. And where Feng Shui sometimes can get a bad rap is they'll do that thing. They'll move the thing, they'll place the thing, they'll paint the thing. And then they're like, oh, it didn't work. Like nothing happened. The money didn't come in. I didn't see more money. And whether you're manifesting, you're being mindful, or you're using Feng Shui, it never hurts to get super specific. So like get very clear on the intention. Your money mindset. I want more money. Well, why? Why do you want more money? What are you going to do with more money? How do you want to see more money come in? Like in what form? Is it through your dream job? Is it through your job? You know, you have to explore these depths of anything that you're asking for. What is the intention and the purpose behind? You're inherently worthy and you can have everything you ask for. But when we say we want more money, more health, more love, you know, it always helps to get clearer. So the way that Feng Shui can help our money mindset is to get really clear on the intention of why we're asking for money. Assuming you're asking for money, assuming that's the money mindset problem. I guess mindset could also be scarcity, lack, and those things, and
which are huge. Yeah.
And that's more that mindfulness, like man luck side, right? That's more of that personal energy side.
Yeah. So
and then once you've got clear on that, you give your space attention with intention and you infuse that clarity into the space. And when you see what you've moved and how you've set up your space, it assures you and it can be empowering and it can make you feel good. Like I did something, money is on its way, or things are going to start working out for me. You know, it can be a very empowering process because I really like Feng Shui because it always helped me feel a little in control when things were chaotic. I think meditation is absolutely amazing and yoga is amazing and all these practices are amazing, but they're practices. They take building and repetition, whereas sometimes simply cleaning or moving the money plant or placing the plant is like a tangible thing you did and you can see that you moved it and it's like an immediate sense of gratification kind of. Whereas meditation, right? You're like, I think I did it.
Yeah. But once again, that's what you said about the personal aspect. I don't know. How do you call it again? Manpower?
Oh, it's man luck. So in that cosmic trinity, you have heaven luck, man luck, and earth luck. And earth luck's that Feng Shui and man luck is your mindset. How do you show up? What action do you take?
Yeah. But you underline something very important because a lot of people know that Feng Shui can be used for money, for different things. But once again, if that man's luck is not worked on before, if you haven't done the internal work of worthiness, of working on your lack mindset, of wanting to as you said, intention, like knowing who you are and what you want for like deep inside, not necessarily what society tells you, but what your soul wants, your soul desires. So Feng Shui is great and I love the tangible aspect. But once again, you can only arrive to that space, tell me if I'm wrong, but to that space of getting the benefits of Feng Shui if you have done the men's luck work before.
Well, it's that cycle again. It's that what came first, the chicken or the egg again. So I started a little backwards. I was like into personal development and achieving and things like that when I fell into Feng Shui.
Mhm.
So whether you start with Feng Shui and you're arranging your space and then you get into the consciousness and the mindfulness, but it's a cycle. Like one will promote the other. They each help each other. Yeah.
But it cannot be one instead of the other or one or the other. It has to work in symbiosis.
They're like they're less potent without the other half. Like specifically starting with Feng Shui, Western Feng Shui, I kind of call it law of attraction Feng Shui. So you move something and maybe you see a quick hit of money or you see a quick hit of a fun meet cute at a coffee shop. But if you have this belief that I'm not worthy, no one loves me, nothing good ever happens for me, that Feng Shui moment, that external environmental opportunity, this serendipitous moment will be very fleeting.
Yeah.
Because of your perspective.
Yeah. There will be no retention.
Yeah. It's much more potent. It's much more powerful and staying power if you pair them together.
Okay. It confirms what I was thinking. So thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. You are right.
I mean, I don't have to be right, but it's good to know how everything works. So putting aside the home aspect, I don't know if it's possible to put aside the home aspect when we're talking about Feng Shui, but let's try it. How Feng Shui can be used as a tool to improve a healthier sense of self and to tap better into our intuition.
Yeah, I love this question because it's sort of deep and you have to believe that you have an intuition. You have to believe that there is this unforeseen energy and things just unfold. You have to be present enough to observe it. But with Feng Shui, life is more serendipitous. And if you can just give yourself the grace of like 50% presence and awareness and say, I have Feng Shuied, I have moved this stuff, you can do it. Like, I don't really even know why I cleaned up. I don't know what I'm expecting. I don't know what I want to call in, but life just needs to get better. And if you do a basic Feng Shui video for my YouTube or something, and you're like, okay, I know something good is going to happen, but I don't know what that is. And you give yourself that presence and you're aware of, oh, I just bumped into this person, or, oh, I got a flat tire, but it landed me here. Or what a weird coincidence. This person called me to meet up. And if you're present, your intuition, your sense of self, and your confidence builds as you start taking action on these weird, I don't believe in coincidences. So if you start to piece these coincidences, for lack of a better word, together, that sense of self, that intuition, this belief in yourself and that everything works out starts to build on itself and starts to prove itself and starts to show you that that is the case.
And is presence an element of Feng Shui?
I think so, because there's plenty of people. I've certainly had a handful of clients before. They're so funny. They come and they Feng Shui. We Feng Shui together. And then there's always a 30-day check-in. And I'll say, so tell me what was going on. Like, tell me what happened. They're like, nothing happened. Nothing good happened. I'm like, nothing. So
in
nothing.
30 days.
Life's exactly the same. You feel just as bad as when we met. And I have to then get really creative in the way I ask questions, and I have to start like asking these things, and eventually we get to, oh yeah, but I'm like, I love working in the office now and I'm much more productive. Or, oh yeah, the executives at work started inviting me to lunch. Or, so if you're not present and you don't like reflect on your day, you know, again, life's just happening to you and it's just you're responding and it's just like it comes and goes, and you're not like watching these beautiful pieces of life stack on top of each other and be stepping stones to the next thing for you, then yeah, you'll miss the beauty of the journey that is life.
Yeah.
You know, so presence is so important. That's why intention is also really important, because someone can come to me and say, Jeannette, I want to Feng Shui for more love or for more money. And you have to like be present and kind of know where you want to go. Otherwise, you don't know why you met that person. Yeah. It could seem totally uncorrelated. It seems like just a coincidence, but it's not, and nothing ever is.
And we start overlooking our blessings.
Yeah, definitely.
So we talk a lot about the home because that's the basis of Feng Shui, but how do we Feng Shui our lives when we're traveling on a regular basis, or even though we have a home base, but we're working remotely, but outside of our homes? So in co-working spaces or cafes, essentially my question is, how do we apply and carry the principles of Feng Shui, but outside of our homes?
So there's a few things to look at as you're traveling. And the biggest, most helpful thing when you're working from other spaces or you're traveling is to look at, are you in the power position? So the power position is, think of a king or a queen when they're sitting on their throne. People come to them, people approach them. They don't ever have their back at the door. They don't leave themselves vulnerable to somebody to come up behind them. So when you're sleeping, hotels do this pretty well, right? Hotels usually have a solid headboard and it's on a solid wall, and it solves that. But when you're working in a co-working space or at a coffee shop, try and find an area where if you want to actually focus and be productive, because your subconscious is always a little distracted if somebody's behind you. So sit in a position where you're in a position of power. Find the booth that's at the back wall and you see the people coming in the shop. Try and see the front door.
I feel like a queen right now. I have the front door right in front of me.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, like, look at all the movies, right? Everybody, all the CEOs in their desk, like they're never in a position of tucked in the corner.
That's true.
And so you can't really move, if you're in anywhere besides a hotel where you can move the bed, you want to be on a strong headboard, and on a wall. It's not ideal to have a TV in your bedroom. So if you want to have really, really great feng shui, bring a cloth with you and put a cloth over the TV, or you also don't want a mirror reflecting you while you sleep.
Can you explain why the TV? Because it became so normalized to have TV in bedrooms, even in hotels and so on and so forth. So why?
Yeah. So some of it has to do with just simply the electronics. Like we all say the same thing, but in different ways. Like scientists would say, like there's a lot of that EMF or like just that frequency coming off, the blue light coming from the TV, just in general, that buzz, right? But in feng shui, it's often because of the reflective surface. So similar to how you don't want a mirror facing you while you sleep, TVs are mirrors when they're turned off.
Why is not advised to have a reflective mirror or TV screen in our bedroom?
Mirrors and TVs, any kind of reflective surface, they move energy, they bounce around energy, they push energy. And bedrooms are meant to be yin, calm, restorative. And mirrors moving around energy, bouncing it all around, it just doesn't help for the best night's sleep. Hands down, the best fun trick to do with people who say I don't sleep very well is I said cover up your mirror, and they immediately are like, oh my gosh, I slept 10 times better. Wow. So I also have yet to find a client who takes down the TV from their bedroom. They all just keep it anyway, and they say I'm gonna break that rule, and whatever.
That's interesting.
I say okay, but
yeah, how people are attached to the TV in the bedroom.
Yeah, they're like, well, it's where we cuddle and watch this and this. And I mean, there's a whole thing I could argue on. Yeah, but how's your intimate life? Like TV should be for the living room. How is your intimacy? How's your connection? Yeah, but I pick my battles.
Yeah. And I think also, since we have, at least in the Western world, once again, we have lives that are pretty dynamic in a way that we go to work pretty early and then we come home late, stressed by the work, also want to work out, like so many things that we try to cram into that same day that we kind of want to tune out at the end of the day. And TV is great to tune out, that we forget to be, once again, having every single space with an intention. So that space with the TV is the entertainment space where I check out for a little bit, or I spend time with my family, watch a movie, so on and so forth. Once I'm in my bedroom is more, as you said, the yin energy, where we calm down, when we rest, when we have maybe deep and meaningful conversation, but in a way that is not stressful, or we don't talk about politics or things like that, So yeah, I think that's an element that we kind of missing. But once again, it's one thing that you talked about before, about overlooking our blessings in a way that we tend to not be present. So we just go, 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 go. And we don't even realize what we're doing or how we occupy our spaces.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I cannot imagine anyone would disagree with, don't even take the TV out. if you didn't watch TV in your bedroom before going to bed for 7 days, and instead, right before you went to bed, you wrote 3 things you were grateful for in a journal, like wound down that way, guaranteed 7 days, you would be like, I'm having a better sleep. I feel so much better things are happening for me. I can't imagine anyone would disagree. Now, are there a lot of people that would fight and not do it? Yeah, but I think we all know. And then there's just science these days, like about the brain. You're not supposed to look at screens right before you go to bed and right when you wake up. Feng Shui aside, it's just like, yeah, what's your intention for the space? What's your intention for your life? And having these tempting things around you.
Yeah. And you said about better sleep. Yes. And science have shown that when you have a nice sleep and a nice soothing night routine, you have a good morning the next day or a good day the next day. So you literally amplifying your life or the quality of your life by just winding down properly or more mindful, I would say.
And that's been the interesting thing about, I'm a very like believe in honoring the ancient art of Feng Shui. I believe in honoring the tradition and its roots and its legacy. And it was very difficult for me the first like year and a half of doing this to merge it with the modern. And like talk about Feng Shui, this beautiful, like spiritual / very scientific, because we look at the astrology, right? And that's how we study the energy. It comes from astrology and stuff.
Astrology or astronomy then?
The planets.
Astronomy.
So astronomy.
Yeah.
And the timing of it. And then to be like talking about TVs in the bedroom, but that all goes together, you know? Because the people that are like, I don't believe in Feng Shui, which you don't believe in Feng Shui. It's a tool. It's not a religion. It's not a practice. Like just like gravity exists, Feng Shui is like there's energy around us and Feng Shui helps us use the energy around us to our advantage. So you don't believe in it.
Yeah.
But if they're like, I don't believe in it, it's like, well, this is a perfect example. Put your bed in the center of the room, then not on a headboard. Have your TV on all the time. Just put piles and boxes around you and see how you feel. Like, you know, like there is something
visualizing that like stresses me out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Imagine like you have so much stuff everywhere. Cockroaches are crawling around, you know, like your environment absolutely has an impact on you, who you show up as. And if it's as simple and as like the TV right before you go to bed, you know, call it Feng Shui, call it science, call it just
whatever you want to call it.
Smart thing to do. Yeah. They all layer together.
Yeah, absolutely. So apart from Feng Shui, do you have habits that you do to be and act more consciously in life or in your life? You talked about meditation before, but maybe you have.
Yes, I love meditating. I do journal before I go to bed. So I do not have a TV in the bedroom. I journal in the morning. I journal like 3 things I'm grateful for. And in the evening, I journal 3 to 5 to 10 things of how it worked out, you know, in air quotes, like how it worked out for me that day. Who did I meet? Where is positive? Did I find a penny on the ground? Was it simply sunny? I really tried to reflect on all those simple, small signs so the days don't pass us by.
Presence again.
Yeah. So very present. And meditation, I absolutely love. I would love to be more into yoga. It's funny because while I am, I think, pretty chill and present and calm, I'm definitely not super patient. I love going and creating. And so it's so funny. I told my friend one time, like, I just don't think yoga is for me. Like, I just am not patient. I get kind of bored. And they're like, Jeannette, that's the whole point. They're like, the point is to like come back to center. But I would say on the flip side, I'm very good at meditating. Most people can't calm their brain, calm their thoughts. And
what type
I just
of
prefer it so much more. I just do guided meditations.
Okay. I feel like yoga is an active meditation and active breath work as well. So I love the blend
I do love breath work. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like there's a blend of breath work, meditation, and movement, and as well as presence. So that's why I'm so in love with yoga. So
I think it's amazing. It's gonna happen.
Like everything is a practice. You'll get there.
Oh, 1,000,000%.
If you have the intention, you're good to go.
Yeah.
So let us know about the services you offer and where can we find you online or maybe in the physical.
The best way to find me online is YouTube or Instagram at Elemental Clarity. And you can find my website through either of those, but my website talks about the different services. I have a DIY Feng Shui online self-paced course, and I also offer one-on-one services if people would like me to help guide them and lead them through it.
Wonderful. So people, you know where to find Jeannette and
You
her
know what to
services.
Yeah. YouTube's a great place because for people who want to dabble at first, there's a whole playlist that says start here. So it's the easy, like basic stuff.
Yeah, to see if it's something that they resonate with before jumping
Exactly.
full on.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much, Jeannette. It was a pleasure to have you on and to learn more about Feng Shui.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you to have taken the time to listen to me talking about conscious living. Conscious Matters is a self-produced podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please share, leave a review, and/or donate. Your support will help to keep on raising the collective consciousness together. Take care and talk to you soon.